Coronation Street viewers spot glaring blunder following dramatic twist. Loyal fans of Coronation Street have pointed out a noticeable mistake during recent episodes featuring shocking developments for the Webster family. Kevin Webster's relationship has been on the verge of collapse ever since his deception about his cancer diagnosis was uncovered earlier in the week, causing Abi Webster to distance herself. Although Kevin was declared free from testicular cancer a few months back, he falsely informed Abi that further treatment was necessary, hoping it would prevent her from leaving him for his brother, Carl Webster. Tensions have been simmering between Abi and Carl ever since Carl set foot in Weatherfield, with the two sharing several intense encounters. Kevin's dishonesty finally unraveled last week when he ended up hospitalized after attempting to retrieve a car that had been taken from the garage. In a heated confrontation, Kevin accused Carl of being involved in the car theft, only to be stunned when Carl admitted he was aware of the truth about Kevin's cancer. Carl revealed that a nurse had confided in him, disclosing that Kevin hadn't undergone chemotherapy for several months, a revelation that didn't sit well with the audience. One viewer posted on Twitter, "Why would a nurse tell Carl about Kevin finishing chemo? That completely violates patient privacy." Another commented, "Yet again, a soap nurse leaks private medical information, this time about Kevin, without permission." A third viewer chimed in, "Patient confidentiality is serious. That nurse had no authority to reveal Kevin's treatment details." Following Kevin's confession, Abi succumbed to her feelings and had an affair with Carl, though Carl later ended it after Kevin threatened to expose his shady activities. Even though Abi had made up her mind to walk away from Kevin, Jack Webster eventually managed to convince her to reconsider and stay. Can their relationship survive the fallout, or has too much damage already been done? Coronation Street casts new landlord for Rover's return as Catherine Tildesley's comeback looms. Catherine Tildesley's rumored return to Coronation Street appears to have moved closer, with a big change on the cards for the Rover's return in. Although ITV has yet to make an official announcement, reports since February have suggested that Tildesley is set to reprise her role as Eva Price after a 7-year absence, leaving fans eager to see how her comeback will unfold. A recent update hinted that Eva might be stepping into a fresh role upon her re-entry into Weatherfield, with speculation pointing to her becoming the new landlady of the iconic Rovers pub, following Jenny Connor's career shift. While ITV remains silent on the swirling rumors, The Sun reported today that Eva will be returning with a brand new husband, portrayed by Shameless and Hope Street actor Aaron McCusker. McCusker, known for his roles as Jamie Maguire and Clint Dunwoody in the respective series, also starred alongside Rami Malek in the Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody. Digital Spy has reached out to ITV for confirmation, but has yet to receive a response. Although precise plot details are under wraps, it's understood that Eva and her new spouse will take over running the Rovers, a familiar setting where Eva once worked as a barmaid. Their involvement with the pub storyline is believed to be connected to Jenny's recent exit, following her emotional storyline after Daisy Midgley's departure. Just last week, it was officially announced that Sally Ann Matthews, who has played Jenny for over a decade, would be leaving the show. Reflecting on her exit, Matthews shared, "I've had a blast portraying a character who could swing from wild and outrageous to deeply emotional and fragile. There aren't many roles where you get to explore such a spectrum of emotions, sometimes within a single scene. I've been working away from home for nearly 11 years, so spending time in my garden with my family and dog is my top priority now. I've been lucky to work in different parts of the industry, and I hope to keep doing that in the future." Coronation Street fans figure out who's behind Shanice's bruises, and Sally's in for a shock. Coronation Street viewers think they've cracked the mystery of who's been hurting young Shanice, and it's not the person everyone expected. Shanice, along with her siblings Johnny and Brody, first appeared on the ITV soap earlier this year as the children of Mick and Lou Michaelis, both of whom have since exited the show. In recent episodes, the family has been thrown into turmoil after both Mick and Lou were arrested. Fans will recall that Mick was jailed for the murder of Craig Tinker, while Lou ended up in prison after assaulting and blackmailing Gary Windus. Since their parents' arrests, Shanice, Johnny, and Brody have been living with Sally and Tim Metcalf, who have been trying to give the kids a stable home environment. But things took a concerning turn this week when Sally noticed bruises on Shanice's arm after sending Johnny to her room for arguing over the television. According to the Daily Star, Shanice brushed off Sally's concern, saying she'd fallen at school. Despite Shanice's explanation, Sally became suspicious and confided in Tim, wondering if Johnny could be responsible for the injuries. However, when Sally approached Brody to discuss her worries, he immediately dismissed her concerns. Even when Sally mentioned the idea of involving social services, Brody begged her not to take it further. Now, fans have begun theorizing that the bruises might have a more troubling origin. In a Coronation Street fan group on Facebook, several viewers have suggested that Brody himself may be the one hurting Shanice. One fan wrote, "I'm convinced it's Brody who's leaving Shanice with those bruises." Another viewer echoed this theory, saying, "I thought the same thing when I saw Brody's face tonight. He looked scared, but it seemed more like guilt than fear of being split from his siblings." A third added, "I suspect Brody is abusing Shanice. Maybe Mick used to abuse him, and now he's repeating that cycle with his sisters." Yet another fan agreed, commenting, "I'd put money on Brody being the one harming his little sister." New Coronation Street couple revealed, but heartbreak looms ahead. Abi Allahan has been stumbling from one disaster to another lately on Coronation Street, and his streak of bad decisions isn't over yet. After hosting a chaotic party that spiraled into a series of LSD-related mishaps, Abi found himself growing close to Lauren Bolton, driven by guilt after she was injured during the drug-fueled chaos. Not long after, Adi's attempt to manage his father Dev Allahan's cherished corner shop turned into another catastrophe, racking up thousands in debt. His desperate plan to fix the situation with a botched burglary collapsed spectacularly, not least because he hadn't even been paying the insurance he was hoping to scam. In a misguided effort to resolve the crisis, Abi teamed up with his soon-to-be stepmother, Bernie Winter, to secretly dip into wedding funds gifted by Dev's Aunt Ronnie. But their scheme was quickly derailed when Aunt Ronnie unleashed a scathing tirade on Bernie, prompting Dev to defend Bernie's honor and send his aunt packing. As with any soap wedding, Dev and Bernie's ceremony is riddled with chaos and drama. In the aftermath of the big day, Abi finally confesses to Dev about the shop's spiraling financial disaster. Later that day, drowning his sorrows in alcohol, Abi is confronted by Lauren just before Dev and Bernie return home. What follows is another bombshell. Abi admits he was responsible for Lauren's LSD incident. Riddled with guilt over his actions and the strain he's put on Bernie, Abi spirals further, eventually ending up drunk in Victoria Gardens. Lauren tracks him down there, and Abi feels compelled to come clean about everything that happened at the ill-fated party. Dev's reaction is swift and harsh. Furious, he decides that Abi should be sent to India to straighten himself out with a fresh start. While wallowing in Victoria Gardens, Abi is found by Amy Barlow, who's stunned by his emotional breakdown. She comforts him, assuring Abi that she knows he never intended to hurt Lauren. Back at number 1, Abi opens up to Amy about his feelings, confessing that he wishes they were something more than just friends. To his surprise, Amy reveals she feels the same, and sparks fly between the two. But their moment of happiness is fleeting. The next morning, Jess Haywood arrives with grim news. Abi is being taken to the station for questioning. Is this the end of Abi and Amy's budding romance before it's even had the chance to blossom? Coronation Street airs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.